If you think scholarships in Germany are only for top students, then you are wrong. Many scholarships don't even care about grades, and they also provide you support for living and other expenses. In this video, I will show you 4 different ways of applying for scholarships, and I will give you a pathway how to apply. So please watch and don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right, let's talk about studying in Germany. If the first thing that comes to your mind is, there's no way I can afford that, then you're in exactly the right place. We're about to tear down all those myths and give you the real insider's guide, the actual roadmap to a funding system that honestly, most students just don't even know exists. So, let's get right into it. Seriously? Does this hit close to home? You've got this dream of studying in Germany, right? But then that little voice in your head starts up. It's impossible. I'm not a straight-A student. Only the top 1% get scholarships. Well, guess what? That's the exact story we're here to completely take apart today. Okay, so first things first. We need to completely reset how you think about student funding. See, Germany, it's just a totally different ballgame compared to most countries. And getting this one simple difference, that's the absolute key to everything. And here it is. This is the big secret. In places like the US or the UK, a scholarship is this desperate fight against crushing tuition fees, right? But in Germany, public universities, they're tuition-free for everyone. So the scholarships here have a totally different job. They're not about paying the university, they're about paying you. They're designed to give you breathing room. We're talking 700 to 1,000 euros a month just to cover your rent, your food, so you can actually, study instead of just struggling to survive. Okay, so where does this money actually come from? This is where most people get it wrong. They hear about 1, maybe 2 options, and then they just stop looking. But not us. Nope, we're going to look at the entire map. And that map reveals what we're calling the 4 pillars of funding. And here they are. First, you've got the giant, DAA. Everyone's heard of that one. Then there's the secret, the Deutschlandstipendium, which is super interesting. After that, we have the foundations, where it's less about your grades and more about who you are. And finally, my favorite, the hidden gems, the ones with way less competition. Now listen, the real insider move here isn't to just pick one. It's to understand and go after all 4. All right, let's break down those first 2 pillars. We'll start with the biggest, most famous player in the whole game. So, pillar 1 is the DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service. This really is the giant. The money is great, don't get me wrong. We're talking somewhere between 900 and 1,500 euros a month. Plus, they often cover insurance and travel costs. But here's the thing, and this is so important. It's not just about the cash. Having DAD Scholar on your resume, that's a stamp of approval, a mark of prestige that opens up networks and career opportunities for the rest of your life. Seriously. Now, because it's so prestigious, it's also super competitive. So how do you actually stand a chance? You have to crack the DAAD code. Forget those generic copy-pasted motivation letters. They get thrown out immediately. Your entire application has to laser focus on answering 2 questions. First, why specifically Germany for what you want to study? And second, what tangible, real-world impact are you going to make with this education when you're done? Okay, on to pillar 2. This is the secret, the Deutschlandstipendium. And this thing is, well, it's just so uniquely German. It's a 50-50 deal. The government puts in half the money, and then private sponsors, we're talking local businesses, foundations, sometimes even just wealthy individuals, they put in the other half. It's this really cool public-private partnership. So what does that get you? It's a solid 300 euros every single month. Now, I know what you're thinking. 300 euros isn't going to pay all my bills. And you're right. But you combine that with a part-time student job, suddenly your living expenses are basically covered. And here's the real inside scoop. Your grades are not the most important thing here. They're looking for your story. Have you done volunteer work? Overcome a personal challenge? Led a student group? That's what they care about. And the key thing to know is you apply for this one after you're already in Germany, directly through your university. Okay, so we've covered the 2 big highways of German funding. Now let's get off the beaten path and explore the roads where your personality and your unique story really give you an advantage. This brings us to pillar 3, the foundations. These are a whole different world. They're scholarships from big organizations that are tied to, say, political parties or social movements. And for them, what matters most is that you share their worldview, their values. It's about alignment. In fact, a powerful personal story that connects with their mission can absolutely beat a perfect GPA. And the funding? It's significant. We're talking 900 to 1,300 euros a month. So how do you find the right one for you? Here's a little cheat sheet. If you're passionate about environmental issues and green energy, you should be looking at the Heinrich Böll Foundation. If you see yourself as a future leader in politics or business, then the Konrad Adenauer Foundation is for you. And if you're all about social justice, check out the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation. But the strategy here is absolutely critical. You have to pick one, maybe two, that truly, genuinely align with who you are. Do not, I repeat, do not just spray and pray by sending the same application to all of them. It will not work.
And that brings us to the final pillar, my personal favorite, the hidden gems. These are the scholarships that almost nobody knows about, the ones everyone else overlooks. I'm talking about things like corporate scholarships from huge companies like Siemens or BMW, especially if you're in a STEM field. There's also funding offered by specific cities, like Hamburg or Heilbronn. But the real gold is often the scholarships offered directly by the universities themselves.
Yeah, this is the real buried treasure. I guarantee you every single German university has its own pot of money for student support, but you often have to do some digging to find it. So, here's your mission. Go to the websites of the universities you're interested in and become an expert on their student support or international office pages. The payoff is huge, because while everyone else is fighting for the DAAD scholarships, you'll be applying for these internal funds that have way less competition.
Okay, so now you have the map, you know the 4 pillars. But a map is useless if you don't know how to read it, right? So how do you actually find all these different opportunities and, more importantly, apply successfully? Let's get you the right tools for your toolkit. First up, the most important tool in your arsenal. Stop wasting your time on Google. You'll just see the same big names over and over. What you need is a website called mystipendium.de. And listen, it's not just another search engine, it's a matching engine. You create a profile, your field of study, your background, your interests, and its algorithm does the hard work. It filters through thousands of smaller, obscure scholarships to find the ones that are a perfect match specifically for you. Next, you need to follow the rules. And there are 2 golden rules. Rule number 1, and I cannot say this loudly enough, no copy-paste. A generic application letter is a guaranteed rejection. Every single application needs to be tailored. And rule number 2 is what I call the proactivity reward. Once you're actually in Germany, a whole new world of opportunities opens up. By getting involved, joining clubs, talking to professors, you'll find funding that you never would have seen from the outside.
Phew, okay, we have covered a ton of ground. Now, let's pull all this insider knowledge together into a simple step-by-step action plan that you can start using today. And definitely stick around for the end, because we have one final pretty amazing thing to share with you. All right, here is your game plan, your timeline for success. About 12 to 8 months before you plan to start. That's when you begin the DAAD application. Trust me, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Then, at the 6-month mark, you need to have identified those 1 or 2 foundations that really speak to you and start crafting those personalized applications. With about 3 months to go, it's time to go hunting for hidden gems on mystipendium. And then, the moment you land in Germany and get enrolled, you immediately apply for the Deutschlandstipendium through your university.
So, what can you do right this second? Your very first action step is simple. Check out the link in the description below. It has all the information you need on how to apply for the Germany Fastlane Scholarship.
Look, if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. The money is there. The support systems are already in place. The only thing missing from this whole equation is you. It's your specific story, your motivation, your plan. That's the final piece of the puzzle.
At the end of the day, success in this comes down to doing what others won't. You get rewarded for digging just a little bit deeper, for not giving up after that first Google search. So, don't just be another applicant. Be the insider. Start your search today. You've got this.